Hi everyone! Want to knit a beautiful, airy, lacy fabric without a single yarn over? It's possible. This entire texture is created using only knit and purl stitches. If you love clever knitting tricks, make sure you're subscribed, and let's get started. For this pattern, I'm casting on an odd number of stitches. The pattern repeat itself is 2 stitches. For symmetry, we'll need to add 1 more stitch and then 2 selvage stitches. So altogether, that works out to a simple odd number of stitches. I've cast on 29 stitches, and now I'm moving on to the setup row. This setup row is not part of the vertical pattern repeat. So I'll slip the first stitch, which is my selvage stitch, and then I'm just going to knit every stitch across to the end of the row. I knit using the Continental Classic method for both my knit and purl stitches. As I approach the end of the row, I always knit the last selvage stitch as well. And now, the main pattern repeat will begin. So here is row 1 of the pattern. Again, I slip the selvage stitch without knitting it. And now I'll work the pattern as follows. I'm going to insert my right-hand needle into the stitch 1 row below. Look, here is the current stitch. I'm inserting the needle into the stitch below it. Then I lay the working yarn over the right-hand needle, and with this motion, I knit the stitch. This creates what is called an Eastern knit stitch. For this technique of knitting 1 row below, I will be specifically making an Eastern knit stitch. How is it different from a regular one? A regular, or Western, knit stitch sits on the needle with its right leg forward, facing me. The Eastern knit stitch sits with its left leg forward. The next stitch, the current one on the left needle, I'm going to slip it as if to knit. And you see, the stitch now looks like it's doubled. The next stitch, I will purl. I'm using the classic Continental method for my purls, but the way you make your purl stitch isn't critical here. You can knit it however you're used to. So now I'll continue alternating these 2 combinations. An Eastern knit 1 row below, slip the current knit stitch, and then a purl stitch. Let me show you in detail the difference between a Western and Eastern knit stitch. To make a Western or standard knit stitch, I insert the right needle into the stitch from left to right. Then I place the right needle over the working yarn, catch the yarn with the needle, and pull it through. As you can see, the stitch sits on the right needle with its right leg forward. An Eastern knit is done the opposite way. I insert the needle the same way, from left to right, but here I bring the needle under the yarn and pull the loop through with this motion. And this way, the stitch sits with its left leg forward. But in this project, we are also working the Eastern knit 1 row below. So I'm inserting the right needle into the stitch below, and I'm making an Eastern knit stitch 1 row below. Why specifically an Eastern one? I need the stitch to sit with its left leg forward. That's the whole reason for making this kind of stitch. Next, slip 1 stitch knitwise, and then purl 1. Again, Eastern knit 1 row below, slip the current stitch as if to knit, and then a purl, and I will alternate like this to the end of the row. I'm approaching the end of the row. On my left needle are 2 stitches, the symmetry stitch and the selvage. To finish the row, I work an Eastern knit 1 row below, slip the current stitch without knitting, and then I knit the selvage stitch. That completes the first row of the pattern repeat. Now for the second row of the repeat. The first stitch is the selvage. I slip it without knitting. And next, I have this doubled stitch from the previous row. That was the Eastern knit 1 row below and the slip stitch. I'm going to knit these 2 stitches together. I insert the right needle into both loops at once from right to left, grab the working yarn, and pull it through to create a standard knit stitch. So that's a knit 2 together. The next stitch I just knit normally, and I'll alternate this to the end of the row. Knit 2 together, then knit 1. 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 Knit 2 together. I'll keep working this way, alternating until I reach the final stitches. At the end of the row, I have my symmetry stitch, a knit 2 together. And then the last stitch, the selvage, which I also knit. And that is the second row finished. To complete the full pattern repeat, we need to work 2 more rows. These will be identical to the first 2, but we'll shift the stitches in a staggered checkerboard pattern. Actually, you could say that this pattern is worked over just 2 rows, or 4, whichever way you prefer to see it. Okay, let's move on to the third row. Slip the selvage, and then work 1 purl stitch. Next, insert your needle into the row below to make an Eastern knit into the stitch 1 row below, and slip the current knit stitch. Repeat this sequence. Purl 1, Eastern knit 1 row below, slip 1. Purl 1, Eastern knit 1 row below, slip 1. Purl 1, Eastern knit 1 row below, slip 1. Purl 1. I'll keep working this across the row. The symmetry stitch here is just a purl, followed by the selvage, which I always knit. Now for the fourth row, the final row of the repeat. Again, I slip the selvage, then I knit 1, followed by knit 2 together. That's the doubled stitch from the row below. Repeat knit 1, knit 2 together until you reach the final stitches. For the symmetry at the end, I work 1 single knit stitch and then the final selvage stitch. That completes the 4-row repeat. From here, you just go back to the first row, not the setup row, and keep repeating these 4 rows to reach the desired height of your fabric. I've knitted a few more inches and look at the result. This creates such a beautiful, airy, yet multi-layered fabric. It's absolutely unique. Another great thing about this pattern is that it's completely reversible. Both sides look stunning, so you can choose whichever one you prefer as the right side for your project. This stitch works perfectly for everything from light summer garments to cozy autumn-winter pieces. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to give this video a like if you found it helpful, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new workshop. Thank you so much for watching, and happy knitting!